Hello and welcome back to the Touch on Sport podcast. My name is Buster Tutcher. I am your host. This is episode 2 and this is our preview of week 1 of the NFL. It's back, baby. 2023 season. It starts tonight, Thursday night football, season opener, Detroit Lions at Kansas City Chiefs. In today's podcast, we are going to run through the entire slate. I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet, a little bit of information on each and every game, and I'm giving you my pick for who's going to win each game. I'm not going to go into too much detail on my picks. I'm just going to pick who I think is going to win the game and give a little bit of thoughts on each game, okay? So, let's get right into it. Let's start. Game 1, season opener, Thursday night football, Detroit Lions at the reigning Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, hosting as Super Bowl winners, as reigning champs. They host the season opener. But not all is right in Kansas City Chief world. Chris Jones, defensive tackle, holding out over a contract extension. He is the star of this defense. Okay. Are they going to be the same defensively without him? We know this team is all about offense. We know last year they had loads of young starters. They're probably all going to take a step forward. They're going to be better defensively, those players. But Chris Jones is the star defensively. He's not going to be there by the looks of things. How's that going to affect this team going into this game tonight against Detroit, who are all about their offense? Last year, Jared Goff was one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He didn't throw many picks. He didn't throw many interceptions. He didn't give the ball away. He pushed the ball down the field. This team played offense really well last year. Can they carry that on? We shall see. Is Jared Goff going to be the same quarterback this year as he was last year? That remains to be seen. Tonight, though, we've got Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. 12th pick of the draft. Preseason, they used him as a normal running back. Is that going to be the case? Is he going to be more of a passing game threat as well? He's a speed guy. How's that going to change their offense? I'm excited to see how they go. For the Chiefs, it's not just that they haven't got Chris Jones. Is Travis Kelce going to play? He hyperextended his knee in practice this week. It's touch and go. He might well play. He may be limited. We don't know as of recording. But if he's hyperextending that knee, even if he can go, he's going to be limited. He's not going to be full health. Do they take the cautious approach, protect him for the rest of the season? This guy doesn't miss games for injuries, though. He's not been injured. He's not missed a game through injury in years. So we will see whether he plays, how much he can play if he does play, but how much is this Chiefs team going to miss him on offense if he cannot go. We know they got Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is, for me, he's the best quarterback in the league. He's a magic man, okay? They've got 7 receivers on that roster. I'd imagine all 7 play. And I imagine there's still going to be enough because they've got Mahomes. They've got Andy Reid, the coach and quarterback. That's the most 2 important things on this team. And they're there. I think the Chiefs win. But I think the Lions can push them close. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be a great season opener. But I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think they've got enough. They've got more than enough, I think, to beat the Lions. Let's move on to the Sunday slate. And in the early kickoffs, first game we're going to cover, it's an NFC divisional game. Carolina Panthers at Atlanta Falcons. Lots of intrigue in this game. We've got Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick in the draft this year, making his NFL debut. We got Frank Reich making his head coaching debut for the Panthers. He's obviously coached in the NFL before, but this is his first season with the Panthers. So new there, brand new there. Then Atlanta, second-year quarterback Desmond Ridder is starting. I like Arthur Smith as a coach. He's great as an offensive coach. He gets teams going. But this team is all about, I think, their running game, which is going to be spearheaded by number 8 overall pick, Bijan Robinson. For me, I said it in the first podcast, I think he's going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to be up there for leading rushers. I'm really excited to see how much the threat of him and their other running backs gets after this Carolina team. I am also really excited to see Bryce Young in the NFL, playing with NFL players, see how he gets on. I don't think they're going to have enough to compete with Atlanta. I think the running game is going to help Atlanta to grind their way through this game, running the ball, holding onto the ball, keeping their defense fresh, keeping Carolina off the field. I think Atlanta wins this game. Moving on, we have the Houston Texans going to the Baltimore Ravens. And more intrigue, more new things. We've got D'Amico Ryans making his head coaching debut full stop with the Texans. We've got number 2 overall pick, C.J. Stroud, is starting for the Texans. And we have number 3 pick, Will Anderson, who is among the favourites for Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's not my pick. You know, I've gone with Jalen Carter, but Will Anderson is among those favourites. This Texans team, there's so much new, there's so much young. The Ravens, Lamar is back. He's healthy. We know what he can do with his legs. But this season, they're looking at throwing the ball. They got a new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken. The talk is they're going to be looking to pass the ball more. That's exciting to see. I'm not entirely sure if in week 1, Jackson and his receivers, they brought in Odell Beckham. They've got new guys through the draft. Are they going to be fully in sync with that new offense? I know they've had training camp, but is it going to be fully ready to go? Maybe not in week 1. I think the Ravens win, but I don't think it's going to be any kind of blowout. I think the excitement and the juice of first game for new head coach Ryans, for new quarterback Stroud, I think the Texans have a lot to give in this game. I don't think they've got enough to beat the Ravens, but I don't think it's going to be any kind of blowout. I think they'll keep it close enough. Okay, moving on. We are on to our next divisional game. It's AFC North. It's Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. The question is, how will Joe Burrow's calf be? We don't know. I think he's going to play. But is he going to have that mobility, that pocket presence, that ability to just make the little movements in the pocket, avoid the pressure, to scramble when he needs to when the play breaks down? It's going to affect him, I think. I don't think he's going to be the same quarterback that have that little bit of escapability that makes him so special. Obviously, he's all about throwing the ball, but can he push off into those throws off the calf injury? It's going to be interesting to see how he looks. And on the other side of the field, Deshaun Watson, last year, he was not the Deshaun Watson of old. Understandable, long time out of the game. He's come back in. Now he's had that reintroduction last season. He's had another training camp under his belt. How's he going to look going into this year? Is he going to be more like the Deshaun Watson of old? Is he going to be more like last year? That's going to be interesting to see. What's also going to be interesting is how this Cleveland defense, there's talent all over it, can they take advantage of Joe Burrow's calf injury? For me, I don't see Deshaun Watson being enough more like the Deshaun Watson over last year. I think he's going to be more in that area. I think Joe Burrow is going to be healthy enough. I think they've got receiving talent. They've got the running game. I think Cincinnati has enough to win this game. But it'll be interesting to see how both those quarterbacks play. I think it's going to be a really intriguing game, and I'm looking forward to it. We have another divisional matchup, this time in the AFC South. In the early kickoffs, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. More intrigue in here. We got Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to continue that trajectory that he had last year, being one of the best up-and-coming young quarterbacks in the league? He had a bit of a rough rookie season. Last year, he took a big leap. Is he going to take another step forward? Because if he does, if he can make it into that upper echelon quarterback tier, watch out for this Jags team because of their talent. They've added some receivers. They've got a nice, strong defense. They've added Calvin Ridley from wide receiver, who was suspended last year, but he's integrated in the team. He's a top quality receiver when he's on his game. Obviously, he's out of break. We'll see how that comes in, but they can ease him in. I'm excited to see this Jags offense see how Lawrence plays, see how the new pieces go. But but also, I'm excited to see the Colts. We've got Anthony Richardson. He was picked number 4 in the draft. He's a rookie quarterback. He is raw. Okay, he is so raw. But I think there's a lot of talent there. We don't know exactly how he's going to be. There's going to be misses. There's going to be mistakes. It's all about learning on the job for him and this Colts team this year. They've got no Jonathan Taylor. They've lost their running back. He's wanted a trade. He wanted a new contract. Now he's on PUP. He's unavailable. I'm excited to see Richardson, but the only way this team stays in this game is their defense. If their defense plays how it can, there's so much talent on this defense, especially up the middle with DeForest Buckner as the headline act, really, at defensive tackle. I'm excited to see if they can keep the lid on the Jags' offense, allow Richardson to grow into the game and keep them in it. I don't think it'll be enough for the Colts to win. I think the Jags will win this game. It should be a good game. Should be a nice close game. Okay, let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Minnesota Vikings. The Buccaneers, they now have Baker Mayfield at quarterback. This is his first game with the team. How will their offense look? They've obviously still got the receiving talent. They've got Mike Evans. You know, he is a top-tier receiver at his best. There's talent. Baker's gunslinging attitude, he's going to keep pushing the ball down. He's going to keep giving those receivers opportunities to make plays, even if mistakes come. I think Minnesota's defense, though, can take advantage of the opportunities that him giving his receivers also gives them. On the other side, Minnesota, offensively, they've got Kirk. They've got Jefferson. Many people think Justin Jefferson is the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year. They've just signed TJ Hawkinson to a new contract. I like that big three. Okay, they've ditched their running back, Dalvin Cook, but they're going for the passing offense now. I like it. Feed into Justin Jefferson. He is your best player on offense. He's a great receiver. He's one of the best in the league. Give him the ball. I like that. Are they going to have the same year as last year where they win all their close games? Probably not. But I don't see this game being super close. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout or anything. But I think their defense is going to keep a control on Tampa Bay. And I think offensively they're going to have too much. I think Vikings win this game somewhat comfortably. Next game, we have the Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. Wow. What can you say? The Titans, last year, they started on fire. They were brilliant, and then injuries. Injuries ruined this team. They were right up there. I think they were 7-2, and then finished the year 0-7. Missed the playoffs. Just absolutely destroyed by injuries. They're back healthy. Be interesting to see how they go. They've got Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. He's back healthy. He's there. They've added DeAndre Hopkins to take their receiving corps to a next level. They're hoping Treylon Burks can take the next step. Now he's in year 2. Just so they can take a little bit of that pressure off Derrick Henry. He is one of the best running backs in the league, but he is getting older now and he is starting to have the injuries. He had them last year. Can they take enough pressure off him so they don't have to grind him endlessly and risk those injuries? Against the Saints, who have a great defense, it's solid. It's always solid. We know what Cam Jordan's going to do. We know what Marshawn Latimer's going to do on the outside at cornerback. I like the Saints defense. I like the Saints as a team. They're solid. There's nothing overly spectacular and amazing, but I think Derek Carr, new team, they've got some weapons. They've got some options for him to pass the ball to. They've got some talent on offense. It's nothing, as I said, spectacular. But I think at home, game 1, I think they'll have enough to beat the Titans, but I think it's going to be a really close game and a really interesting game to watch to see how new players settle into new systems, how the Titans look now they're back healthy, how Derek Carr looks in the new lineup. Moving on, Arizona Cardinals, Washington Commanders. Honestly, for me, I don't think this is going to be the greatest game of football. I don't see either the Cardinals or the Commanders being... Well, I'll be honest, I see them as being two of the bottom tier teams in the league this season. I don't think there's a lot of talent there. There's talent, but is it in the right places? For the Cardinals, we've got Jonathan Gannon making his head coaching debut in the NFL. That'll excite them, but what doesn't excite me is Joshua Dobbs starting at quarterback. He's a career backup. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. I know Kyler Murray is injured. I think it's going to be a difficult year for the Cardinals because I don't see the answer at quarterback being Joshua Dobbs. And I don't know when Kyler comes back. I think they're going to struggle. Washington, their talent is on defense. They've got Sam Howell starting at quarterback. He's young. There's talent there, but I'm not seeing it as a starting quarterback in the NFL for me. In this game, that defense is going to be more than enough to carry them to victory. They've got a great defensive line, and that is really the strength of this team. That will carry them to win in this game. In the rest of the season, I'm yet to be sold on them being able to ride the defense to that many wins. Commanders win this game. I don't think it's going to be a great game of football. And last game in the early kickoffs, we have got the San Francisco 49ers at Pittsburgh Steelers. The biggest storyline coming into this game was, for me, all about the quarterbacks. But now, yesterday, Nick Bosa signed his new 5-year, $170 million extension with the 49ers. So the question is, we know now he's going to be there. What kind of shape is he going to be in? He's missed all of training camp. But everyone goes on about Bosa keeping in shape, having the right diet, looking after his body. Is he going to be the same player that won Defensive Player of the Year last year? Or is there going to be some rust for him to knock off? Because I think he is a huge part of this defense. It's a top defense. There's talent in every level. But Bosa is the best player on that defense. If Bosa comes back and is flying, this defense is stacked. If there's some rust to knock off, the pass rush against Pittsburgh's offensive line could make it a long day for that San Francisco defense. Let's talk about both sides' offense now, though. We've got Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy both coming into year 2. Pickett, he was a bit shaky last year. He was up, he was down. He ended the year on the way up, though. Is there going to be a second-year leap from the quarterback? He's from Pittsburgh. He's local. They know him. He's solid. There's so much talent in there. Pittsburgh always does offensive line well. They always do running backs well. They always do receivers well. If Pickett can take that next step, there's a lot of talent here, and this could be a really strong team. We know what they got defensively. We know what they're like. We know we got TJ Watt. He's back healthy. That's exciting for them. It's a super strong division, and they need to get off to a hot start. On the other side for the Niners, Brock Purdy, coming off that elbow surgery. Games he started and finished, never lost. He's only lost when his elbow got destroyed. Early in that NFC Championship game. There's a lot of talent for him to get the ball to. Is the elbow going to be fine for him to get the ball to McCaffrey, to Debo, to Ayuk, to Kittle? We shall see. It's exciting if he is healthy because that Niners offense, there's so much talent there, they can fly. We know what Kyle Shanahan's like offensively. I think this is going to be a great game. I think there's going to be two offenses ready with the talent there to explode. Depends on the quarterback play. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. There's great edge rushers on both sides. There's strong defense on both sides. I think it's going to be a very close game. But I do have the Niners winning. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. I think the Niners are going to win this one. Okay, that's the early slate done. Let's move on to the late kickoffs now. And first of all, NFC North divisional game. Green Bay Packers going to the Chicago Bears. The big brother going to the little brother. The little brother thinks they've got one up. Aaron Rodgers is gone from Green Bay. Jordan Love's time is now to be the starter. We don't know what he's going to be like. We've seen glimpses. We've seen moments where he's looked all right, moments where he's not looked so great. How is he going to look now he is the starting quarterback for the Packers? They've got receiver talent, but it might be a little bit injured. They've got running back talent. Is it enough? They always do offensive lines well. How is Jordan Love going to look as the starting quarterback? Every game, every week, with that pressure of knowing he is the guy. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they're going to run the ball. I think that's going to be their starting point. Run the ball. Take the pressure off Love. Use the running backs. They have the players there. They've got Aaron Jones. They've got the run scheme. I like the Packers because I think they're going to run the ball. I don't think they're going to be great. I think there's going to be ups and downs. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride. It'll be interesting to see how they go against the Bears because Justin Fields, for some, starting quarterback for the Bears, he's a dark horse MVP candidate. I'm yet to be convinced. I think he's more an athlete than a quarterback. I think he's a great runner, but throwing the ball, I'm not sure. I like the talent around him. I like the receiving corps, but is the passing there for him to make the most of it? I'm yet to be convinced. I need to be convinced. I need to start to be convinced from game one. For me, I don't think it's there. And I think because of that, Green Bay can run their way to a win here. I think Jordan Love can do enough just to hand the ball off, let them run, complete the 1s and 2s, easy throws. And I think Green Bay wins this game by running the ball. Next, it's all about divisional matchups. In the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders go to the Denver Broncos. It's new here as well. It's exciting. We got Jimmy Garoppolo in his first ever game for the Raiders. There's talent around him. Jimmy G, when he's healthy, he's won. But how's he going to look in Josh McDaniels' offense? I mean, you've seen him slightly there before when he was in New England, but that's changed. It's changed since then. This is McDaniels in a new team. This is Garoppolo having been to another team, coming back to this team. They've got different talent. They've got different options. How's he going to gel with his new receivers? There's talent that was already there and he's come and joined it. They've lost Darren Waller at tight end, but they still have Devontae Adams. They still have Josh Jacobs. They still have Hunter Renfrow. The Raiders have the talent. They've got a strong enough defense as well. It's not elite, but some of the pieces are. Max Crosby is elite. Chandler Jones is a sack machine. Defensive line is strong for the Raiders. I'm excited to see what they can do. Whereas on the other side, the Broncos, it's the return of Sean Payton to the NFL. Took a year out. He's back coaching. Is he the guy to fix Russ? Or is Russ washed? That's the question. Russell Wilson, Seattle, he was top tier. He was up there. He was an MVP candidate every year. Comes to Denver and he crashes. Was not good last year. The whole team was not on it last year. Peyton comes in, he's big, he's brash, he's bold. He's challenging the team. Is that going to push Russell Wilson back up? Or is it not there anymore? Be interesting to see, and I think game one, we've got to see it. There's talent in receiving core. There's a couple of injuries here and there. There's options for him to throw the ball to. He can run the ball again. I think they've got enough to beat the Raiders at Mile High in game one. The energy's going to be there. Peyton's first game. For the rest of the season, I'm not entirely sure yet. But game one, I've got them having enough to beat the Raiders. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins flying across the country all the way to Los Angeles Chargers. It'll be interesting to see how Tua looks. We know he's got the talent. We know he's accurate. He distributes the ball. The question for this team, for this offense, is can he stay healthy? Well, he's healthy coming into week one. So offensively, they should be great. Defensively, they've added Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator. I love the appointment. I love the hire. I think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be great for week one. I think, all right, they've had training camp. They've had time. But I think defensive talent isn't as high as it is on the offensive side. I'll say they've acquired Jalen Ramsey, but he is out until later in the year, December maybe. So I think defensively, it's going to take them some time to catch up, but I think they will be good defensively, just not quite on it from game one for me. Offensively, we know they're going to be high-powered, but how's it going to look in year two? Is there going to be any wrinkles? Is there going to be changes, updates to the offense? It'll be interesting to see. On the other side, it's not a new defensive coordinator, it's a new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. Kellen Moore coming in, formerly of the Cowboys. He's come in. How's he going to help Justin Herbert? Is he going to help him take that next step up to being that top tier? Because he's in around it. He had a great start. He was a bit bumpy last year. If he can help Herbert take another step, this Chargers offense is going to fly and will score points because Herbert has the talent. It's about getting him to produce it on the field. I'm excited. Defensively, they're back healthy. That's the main thing for this team. They're back healthy. They've got the players. They've got the talent. If Bosa, if Mack, if Derwin James, if they can produce as we know they can, this defense is going to be strong. It'll be interesting to see how they go in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the Chargers can win this road race. I think they win. It's going to be high-scoring, but I think the Chargers win. Next is the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year's Super Bowl losers, NFC champions, going to the New England Patriots. The question for me, do Philly have the Super Bowl hangover? It's going to be interesting. We know they've got talent. We know they've got the players. We know they've got the coaching staff. We know they've got the quarterback. But is there a drop? Last year they were elite. Offense, high-scoring, high-powered, run the ball, smash the mouth, score touchdowns, passing the ball, brilliant. Defense, sacks, led the league in sacks. Over 70 sacks last year. Crazy numbers. Can they repeat that again? Or is it going to be a little drawback? Or even a big drop-off? It's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited to see how they go in week one. I'm excited to see Jalen Carter. He's my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think on this defensive line, he's going to get opportunities. He's going to be kept fresh. But in week one, going to New England, going to Bill Belichick, they've got a new offensive coordinator. They've brought, new. Bill O'Brien's been there before, but he's back. Last year, Matt Patricia was not an offensive coordinator, and Mac Jones suffered as a result. Now, Bill O'Brien comes in. Surely, offensively, they're going to take a step forward. Even if Mac Jones isn't the guy. They've got options. I think they have to take that step forward. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. I think they're going to present Jones with chances, like easier chances. And in this game, I think New England has it. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I think that's going to suit New England. I think Philly are going to have a little drop back. I think New England, Bill Belichick, they are the perfect opportunistic team to be able to take advantage of that. And I think New England wins this game. Next, we have another divisional matchup. We've got the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's going to be a great game. Because it's going to be close. It's going to be tense. Because is Matt Stafford without Cooper Kupp. He's back. Stafford is back healthy. The Rams last year, that's not Sean McVay's standard. That's not what he expects from his team. He's got Matt Stafford back. He's got Aaron Donald healthy. He hasn't got Cooper Kupp yet because I think that hamstring issue, he's gone to Minnesota to have it checked out by a specialist. I think that's going to affect him. I don't think he's going to play week one. But Stafford's healthy. And playing with McVay's standards, I think they're going to be improved. And I think they're going to challenge the Seahawks team. Seahawks last year, they were young. There was talent. Geno surprised the world. Is Geno going to be the same player as last year? Early season last year, he was electric. He was brilliant. He was up there with the MVP candidates. Tailed off towards the end of the year, though. Can he take that step back up? Is he going to keep on that lower level? Because I think they need him to be in that step up in this game. Because I think the Rams are going to be coming for them. I think they're going to be fired up. I think they're going to be chasing it. But I think the Seahawks' young defense is going to take that step forwards, and I think it's going to be enough for them to be able to beat the Rams in this game. Okay, Sunday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. NFC East divisional game. This is going to be huge. For me, Dallas are one of the favourites to be the number one seeds in the NFC. I love their team. I love their talent. What I'm not entirely convinced on yet is the removal of Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. Is Mike McCarthy calling the plays? How's that going to look with Dak? How's Tony Pollard going to look? Now he's getting the bulk of the carries. Now they've got rid of Zeke. But I like the addition of Brandon Cooks to supplement the passing game, to give them a different option opposite CeeDee Lamb. I like the addition of Stephon Gilmore on defense to give them another corner opposite. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I love the addition of Stephon Gilmore. I think that's great. Gives them a number 2 corner. Keeps them high quality on both sides of the defensive backfield. But what I love most about this team is Micah Parsons. For me, he's the favourite for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's going to be one of the league leaders in sacks. We know what he offers in tackling and coverage. He's everywhere. And I think in week 1, he's going to be everywhere. He's going to be looking to shut down the Giants, who are just going to be looking for Daniel Jones to start living up to that contract, because that is a big contract for Daniel Jones, who still has some question marks around him. Will he live up to it? We shall see. How will the addition of Darren Waller at tight end help him to live up to it? I think that is a huge addition for them and for Daniel Jones. The other question for New York, offensively, is Saquon going to have the same year he had last year? He was great last year. He carried their offense. If he can do it again, they're going to be a great team. Can he do it against this Dallas defense? I think he can, but not enough. And I think Dallas wins this game. I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be close. It's going to be tense. But Dallas wins. They've got so much talent. I think they win this game. And then finally, Monday Night Football. We will have another look at this on Monday's podcast when we have a review of the Sunday slate. But Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. AFC East divisional game to wrap up week 1. It's all about quarterbacks. This game is all about quarterbacks for me. Josh Allen for the Bills. Is he going to have that bounce back? Last year, he was a roller coaster. He was up, down, up, down, up, down. How's he going to look? Coming off that slightly disappointing year where they did not achieve what they wanted to do. Is he going to have a bounce back? Is the relationship with Stephon Diggs going to be settled enough where they're clicking and he can get his targets and he can have that connection? How do the new tight ends look? How's the running game look? And how's the defense look? Because they're going to need that defense. They've got no Von Miller. He's out injured at least for the first 4 weeks. It's going to be interesting to see how the defense goes. We know they've got a lot of defensive line pieces that are high quality. It'll be interesting to see how they go against Aaron Rodgers in his first game for the New York Jets. I'm excited to see how he clicks with his new young places. Reports are from camp. He's been there, he's been present, he's made the relationships, they've had the practice, they've got it in. It's going to be interesting to see how they goes. This game, though, I think it's actually going to be that Jets' defensive line is going to get after the Bills' offensive line and get after Josh Allen. And I think because of that, we're going to see 2 good offenses, but I think the Jets' defense is going to be enough to take them to the win in this game. Okay, that is all the games. We will be back on Monday with a review and a roundup of every game from Thursday night tonight and from Sunday. And we'll have a little last minute look ahead to Monday night again. But let me know in your comments, what are your thoughts for the games? What are your picks? Do you agree with my picks? Let me know. See you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Great to have you back. And see you again soon. Bye-bye.